Now we're doing it, and it's the underrated 11, okay? This
Yep.
season. So, you want to start, Brenton?
Yeah, you know what I do? I feel prepared for this one, okay? All right, I'm gonna start because I think the goalkeeper is going to rankle some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna start with my goalkeeper and then I want to hear yours. All
Okay.
right, most underrated players so far this season. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Goalkeeper. I'm gonna go with David De Gea, Manchester United. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? First instinct. Go.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Here's why. It totally should be expected, right? It totally should be expected, not to be in the underrated, but beyond the underrated. But my God, I mean, the amount of times he's saved them so far this season, I do feel he's. Don't get
True.
me wrong, he's made some big mistakes in a United shirt over the last several seasons. He
Mm-hmm.
absolutely has. But with kind of the mess that's been around him this season, I'm pretty sure if you look at the stats, he's kept a few out that
Mm-hmm.
has kept United in games. And I really do feel like he's kind of approaching that underrated territory, at least for this season. Maybe not all time, but we'll see if it lasts. We'll see if it lasts. But I do feel because he's at such a high profile club, because there's so much expectation
Mm-hmm.
behind him. Calling him underrated seems a little unfair, but he's been very
Okay.
good for United so far this season. So
That's true, and I do agree with you that people are overlooking how good he's been. I agree with you, and they'd be much worse without Ronaldo and De Gea. I agree with you for sure. So I'm gonna say my keeper over here, and look, I think you know what? Straight away when I say this sentence, you'll know he's the reason why Messi won a Copa America.
okay,
It's Emiliano Martinez, man. This guy, in my opinion, is a top 5 goalkeeper in form in the world. He is ridiculous, and it's ridiculous that Arsenal let him go to Aston Villa for such a cheap fee, man. Too, I gotta say that too. Top-notch deal by Aston Villa, and yeah, he is the most underrated keeper, in my opinion, in the world. But the talk was between him. I had a tough one between him and José Sá. Because José Sá, like, he's
Yeah.
not even the number 1 in the Portuguese national team. José
Yeah.
Sá is mad underrated too. I gotta say that. So let's go,
Well,
José Sá.
yeah, and Jose Sa probably should have been our both of our picks just based on how much he punched above his weight since coming into the Premier League. I mean, it's been like the transition. Like, there's been not even one howler, not even one issue with him
agree.
where he's on goal. He's been nothing but Wolves' best line of defense as it stands. But yeah, the only reason I picked De Gea over him too was just simply because of the mess that's been in front of him, and what he's done regardless. So
Okay.
now those are all very good shouts.
So you want
Okay,
me to start now on the defenders?
yeah.
Okay, so on the defender side, I have a 4-3-3 tactic, just to say. And so my 4 defenders, I'm gonna go at the left. This time I'm gonna go with Rafael Krud. Because I
Okay.
do think Rafael Krud is underrated. Then Philippe, Godin,
Yep.
and Joaquin Mele. Okay? Those are
Wow. Okay.
Joaquin Mele. So so at the left, Rafael Krud, Philippe,
Yep.
Godin, and Joaquin Mele.
I like it. I like it. Mele's really pepped up as of late at Atalanta, so I've been very glad to see that. Philippe has been very solid, although I picked a different Lally center back. I don't know. I mean, which one out of those 4, who would you say is the most underrated?
Who? Could you? Sorry.
Out of those 4, out of your back line, who would you say which defender is the most underrated?
I'd say because of what they've done, I'd say Godin. Because Godin, like, went top levels. But I have to say, too, Rafael Krud is pretty underrated in the world spectrum, man. Because I've seen Rafael Krud playing in midfield at a high level and playing at a really good level at left back, too, for the national team. Because there was a time that Portugal didn't have left backs, and Rafael Krud came in as a savior, I remember. So, and set pieces. That guy is ridiculous too in set pieces. So,
Do you think Nuno Mendes is a poster of Rafael Guerrero on as well?
no, he doesn't. I think I felt. No, I'm joking. I won't say that. But, but Nunes, he will start. He's gonna be the left back for Portugal, man. But yeah, But he learned. I'm sure he learned a lot with Rafael Guerrero because there comes experience. But let me see your defense.
Yeah, well, Godin, he just made a move back, right, to South America.
Yes, the Brasileirão. Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, he's getting up there in age, but still such quality professional. All right, mine is odd. You ready? Here we go. All right, my left back is Mark Cucurella.
Okay.
Brighton. Okay. My center back, one of two, is Diego Carlos, Sevilla, who we talked about previously. My other center back, again, it's Aymeric Laporte. Okay. Yep. Laporte for me. Well, I'll talk about them in a second. And my right back is Donnie Carvajal. I know he's been injured. He was injured pretty much all of last year. He's only really played 13 or 14 games this year. He might be trending downwards in terms of his importance for Real Madrid. But I don't know. I'm not really there yet. All three of Real Madrid's losses this season have come with him out of the lineup when he's not at right back.
Wow, that's a great stat to mention, man.
Yeah.
Carvajal.
Yeah. So like he just turned 30, I know, and he's had a bunch of injuries. He's been in and out, but I'd say, I would even extrapolate and say he's one of the more underrated fullbacks on the planet over the last 5 to 10 years.
Oh,
right?
I agree.
I don't see that being that bold. But yeah, let me go back through. So, Cucurella, this is more of like a personal preference. I love watching Mark Cucurella play. Okay. Love watching him at Getafe. I actually thought he was maybe a year or two too early at Barcelona. I thought he could have gotten his chance at Barcelona.
Agreed.
I know everybody likes to look at his hair and call him Sideshow Bob and whatever. But this kid is he's like a Jack Russell Terrier. He's just everywhere on the field. Okay. And he'll get forward. But I know for like 2 years running, he was either leading by a lot, I think for 2 years running in La Liga, he led pressures 1. Okay. So he was just always over there. Lightning rod, up that left side. He's been a standout everywhere he's gone. He's normally winning tackles. He can hit a through ball. He can hit a cross. And he hasn't missed a beat for Brighton. He really hasn't missed a beat. And he's been one of the more entertaining players to watch. Still 23. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see him see him play for Spain quite frequently over the next 5 years. Diego Carlos, we already talked about. He's barely ever beaten on the dribble. He's aggressive. He's got 10 clean sheets and 19 starts this year in La Liga. 6 of those were 1-0 wins. So razor thin. I would say the outlier this season was Sevilla's stinker in the Champions League. But like Diego Carlos is, I don't know. He's like a smaller center back, but he's like filled out and just a really good, solid guy. I can't see him at Newcastle, but watch it happen.
I can.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. But Laporte, too, I just think he's the forgotten center back at Manchester City. Obviously, not really a name that you would look at and say kind of underrated, but I think because he's never really in the limelight as like a howler central. He is so trustworthy to Pep Guardiola that I think it's understated. Aymeric Laporte, it's just expected that he plays at a high level. I know he slipped today versus Chelsea, almost leading to a goal. But again, it's not surprising that City's 2 losses this year, came and he wasn't in either line. Actually, no, he was out one game. The other game, he got a red card early on. So,
well, Laporte is a phenomenal ball-playing center back, and if there's a center back type that Guardiola would love, it's the one that can pinpoint that pass. That's a phenomenal mention. I think Laporte. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I do think Laporte is like overlooked by many because Ruben Dias gets all the attention, man. Especially I give all my attention to Ruben Dias, so
Yeah,
I get you.
and I believe Laporte came in like a couple weeks after Virgil van Dijk made that big move to Liverpool. So I just feel like he's gotten lost in the mix of the jokes about how Pep likes to spend hundreds of millions of pounds on center backs, but like Laporte has been absolutely key, and probably has allowed Ruben Dias to be who he needs to be, play to his strengths there, and they look good today. It was Laporte and John Stones versus Chelsea, and it didn't really. Chelsea looked.
You want to go ball with the midfield?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll go quicker on this one. Okay, 3 in the midfield. We're 4-3-3. This is underrated ballers for the season so far. My midfield is Sergej Milinkovic-Savic of Lazio. Okay. My defensive mid, even though you could put Milinkovic-Savic there, is Denis Zakaria. And my attacking mid is going to be Bruno Guimaraes.
Okay? What a team, Brenton. What a team. Clip it. What an underrated midfield. Oh,
I like it.
You got me with Milinkovic-Savic. You got me sold.
Yeah.
I knew the midfield was going to be fire once you said that, man. Oh.
I mean, his heat maps are ridiculous. Like, the guy is everywhere. And what I love most about SMS, or whatever you want to call him, what I love most about him is that he will get dirty. Like, he will get stuck in and destroy somebody. Yes. And in the same breath, or like 5 dribbles later, he'll hit a, line splitting pass that sends somebody through, or whatever, and 7 goals to go with 7 assists in Serie A this season. He's second in assists in Serie A. He covers so much ground.
Yes.
And he's been doing it. He's been doing it year in, year out for like a relatively uninspiring Lazio team. So
it's so weird, man. For me, like, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic has the passing ability, has the finishing ability. He can head the ball, and then you mentioned it. He can cover all. He can cover all. Man, amazing mention. So I'm gonna go with my midfield over here, and I think it's a good one. So my underrated midfield is Rodrigo De Paul, Thielema, and Dusan Tadic. This is my underrated midfield, man. Because, come on, Dusan Tadic is like nearly or equaling maybe, Messi in assists. Then we have De Paul that is crucial for Argentina, and he got an amazing move to Atletico. And not a lot of people still talk about Rodrigo De Paul. He's man underrated for me. And Thielema. Like, if I see the scale of things, it's Thielema's balling in the Prem. And if Thielema was in the top 16, people would be going bonkers on him. So I do expect him to have a move, though. Like, he can't be playing for like this for so many seasons and not get snatched up. So, this is my midfield.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you and I both have been big fans of Yuri Tielemans. I mean, back when he was with Anderlecht coming through, and his move to Leicester surprised and delighted us. But you're right. I mean, he's getting to the point. I think his deal is coming up, and he's going to be making a move, is my guess. I don't think he's going to be renewing with Leicester, so I'll be really interested. And actually, a lot of these that you mentioned, aside from DePaul, who did just sign, Zakaria, Milinkovic-Savic, Guimaraes for Lyon, and Tielemans. I mean, these are all guys that are very much up in the air, right, in terms of club situations. They might be moving to bigger clubs soon, and if they aren't, they should be.
No. Yeah, you got it right. They're going to move. Those players are going to move. So, front trio. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay, let me go bold on this one. So, my front trio is at the left, I'm going with Christopher Nkunku. At the striker, I'm going Zeku. And at the right, I'm going Son, okay? So, my trio, underrated. For me, he's underrated. But if not Son, I put Berardi. Okay, I had like if you were gonna say, oh no, Son ain't underrated, Berardi, okay? Because Berardi, how is this guy still at Sassuolo, okay? Berardi would literally go to Tottenham right now, or even like, I'd say, not Man United, but Berardi can play in a top Premier League team, and he's at Sassuolo at Inter. No, but not a lot of people talk about him. But Dzeko, for me, Dzeku's underrated because Dzeko replaced a player for 110 million and replaced pretty well with the same, not the same stat, but he's equaling those stats of Lukaku last season, and now in Nkunku, because. Yeah, if there's a player that's going to definitely get a move, it's Nkunku. And mad underrated. For me, he's got to be for Le Bleu, got to be in the selection. And yeah, unbelievable stats.
I mean, he's got his footprint on every good thing that Red Bull Leipzig does. So I'm with you there. We also have overlap. Dzeko is a great shout because he's been scoring goals for years, man. And yeah, for him to step in seamlessly and replace a Lukaku and them still have the same outcome, which is them at the top of the Serie A table currently, that's pretty damn good. We'll see if it lasts, but I like that. So, do you want to guess which one is the overlap?
Son.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think so. Here's what it comes down to. I have him on the left, but here's what it comes down to. Son is underrated because I don't think any of us can fathom how important he is to the footballing world in the Eastern Hemisphere, right? To the importance of spreading the Premier League gospel all across the world. And for just on top of that, how really good of a dude he seems to be, and how good of a footballer he is. And in a team where the buck stops with Harry Kane. He has somehow always picked up that slack when Harry Kane is out. He has always just worn down defenses. He's just been the guy that is just the endless, I don't know, like the fly buzzing around your head that just never goes away and you can't catch. Okay, and Tottenham fans, I'm sure, rate him, obviously, but I think the rest of Premier League fans, the rest of the world, might not rate him as highly as they should.
World class.
You know, he does more for the advancement of football than I don't know, than other people out there. I mean, he's up there in terms of the influence he has on the world footballing culture with Cristiano Ronaldo and Leo Messi because of where he comes from and how important he is to that. So I'm with you. I'm all on board as saying Heung-min Son is one of the best and most underrated footballers, even though he is widely considered one of the most world-class footballers out there. So, with that said, I got Heung-min Son. I've got my striker is Gerard Moreno, Villarreal. Hard to kind of say he's underrated when he just keeps scoring goals for Villarreal.
He is.
But he totally is. He's key in the build-up. His first touch is like top-notch. And he's got 90 goals in 149 appearances all time for Villarreal to go with about 27, I think, 28 assists. I mean, he's the all-time leading goal scorer for Villarreal. Him under Unai Emery is just taking it up to another level. So I just think Gerard Moreno is phenomenal. I mean, they were flagging. They were not doing really well. He comes back from injury. He's got 7 goals in 5 starts, and they've got, I think, they're unbeaten in the last 6. It just shows you all you need to know about Gerard Moreno. Waiting for that next move and whether or not it'll ever happen. And then my right wing is going to be Jared Bowen. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Jared. Yes. Assists versus United. He's got 2 assists versus Liverpool this year, a goal and an assist versus Chelsea. He already has 18 goal involvements this season, more than quite a few. Of players that have been called up by Gareth Southgate for England. You know me, I always use the term endless engine. Jared Bowen is an endless engine. He just never stops. And he's one of the biggest keys to West Ham's outperformance. So I wanted to go with Domenico Berardi because of just sheer output. But Jared Bowen, for me, this is probably because I watch the Premier League more. So I admit it. I get it. I haven't been watching Sassuolo as much as I've been watching West Ham, but Jared Bowen has just been phenomenal for them, and I'm going to say it. He deserves an England national team call-up.
Gee, love it, and I agree with it. So let's just go down with the 11. So my 11 has Martinez, Rafael Guerreiro, Felipe, Godin, Joaquim Mele. Then in midfield, De Paul, Tielemans, Tadic, and then forwards, Nkunku, Zeku, and Son. This is my underrated 11. So
I like it. All right, my underrated 11 is De Gea, Cucurella, Diego Carlos, Laporte, Carvajal, Zakaria, Milinkovic-Savic, Guimaraes from Lyon, Heung-min Son, Gerard Moreno, and finally Jared Bowen. These are good teams.
Man, I like that team. I love the Bruno Guimaraes mention, man, because Bruno Guimaraes is really gonna leave Lyon. 100% gonna leave Lyon.
He is, and I really am interested in where he's going to wind up. I mean, he's a little sloppy sometimes in possession, so if, I don't know if it's going to be a possession-based team, but like, so good. He can do it all. A lot like Milinkovic-Savic. So I'm really excited to see where these guys wind up.
So people, comment in the comment section below your favorite 11, okay, and who should be in our favorite 11s, okay, because we really want to see those underrated names pop up here in the comment section, man. And please like the video too.